Yeah?
Does 10 million hits count as a viral video?
I'll say. What do you got?
Well, it looks like we've got a bunch of fire hoses pointed down and they're lifting a car off the ground.
That is friggin' perfect for us.
It looks pretty convincing. What do you think?
No idea. Here, play it again.
You know, if this is real and we can actually pull this off, it's gonna be awesome.
I totally agree, but man, it could also be deadly.
It could also be a con job. That car might just be a plastic shell. But the only way to find out is to try it ourselves. That means building a platform, sweet-talking some firemen, and buying a full-weight has-been hatchback.
This is what it is to be a Mythbuster. You see this car behind me and you think, it's some classified ad piece of crap. I see a flying water jet car.
Adam's itching to squirt this wreck sky high, but Jamie wants to check under the hood.
This car weighs, according to the sticker, 3,175 pounds. Now that means that each of those hoses has to put out about 320 pounds of thrust. Personally, I don't think so.
Jamie decides to start small scale, and he's not afraid to delegate.
Okay, well, this is our car. I need you to make me a 1/6 scale version of this on the CNC. Can you do that?
Yes, we can do that, definitely.
Okay, off you go.
Okay.
The CNC mill is a computer-controlled milling machine that will take a laser-scanned image of a real car and generate a toolpath for its cutting tool that will carve out a miniature version of the car at any scale we like out of something like a fine-grained particle board.
Meantime, Adam knocks up a miniature 10-nozzle frame for the tiny car to sit on. The frame and the car fit together just like a piston in a cylinder.
Oh, it's perfect. Look at that.
This might be a small-scale test, but still, why mess up your own backyard? Jamie's picked out a fire training facility about 30 miles east of the city in Pleasanton.
Given that we're going to be harnessing hundreds or maybe even thousands of horsepower of diesel pump energy and putting that through hoses, this is kind of a dangerous situation that we don't really want to just dive into without preparation. And so we're going to build a scale model, see how well we can control it, see if we can learn anything about it before we start dealing with the big boys.
Okay, this bewildering mix of half-hose, double-pipe, triple-glued, multi-valves sure don't look small-scale. Thankfully, Adam's here to explain it.
Right, kiddies, close your eyes and open your brains. Well, actually, keep your eyes open because this television is going to take you on a little journey. Picture yourself as a droplet of water with a bunch of your friends heading down this 2.5-inch fire hose. Everything's going great. Then all of a sudden, you hit this transition. What is this? Oh, it's starting to have to do with the Mythbusters. So, you and your friends are divided into two groups. This group, the left group, let's go see what they're going on. Left group comes down the manifold and further gets divided into 5 other groups, each one going down a 25-foot garden hose. Those garden hoses lead to the platform where all 10 groups of water droplets, all of you and your friends, are rejoined coming out of these nozzles. And if everything goes well, you'll see this. But we're not exactly sure that's going to happen. There's likely to be problems.
And that's not just a prediction, it's a promise. Retired Fire Chief Bob Calloway runs out the hose and taps into the nearest hydrant. He's pumped, and so are the boys.
We are all plumbed up and ready to go. And what I'm hoping to discover here is information about the flight characteristics of the full-size car when we power it up.
So Bob, we're all set and ready to go.
Okay, Jamie.
And you got your valve there, huh? So
right.
What's your signal for more or less?
More is this way.
Less is like that.
Less is this way.
Just like a crane, okay.
Right.
Well, I'm going to stand kind of safely off to the side watching the whole thing, and I'll give you your signal more or less, and we'll just kind of ramp on up.
Okay.
Remember the high-pitched squealing means shut everything down. It sounds like, like that.
Will do.
Okay.
Jamie declines a waterproof suit. That's because Adams volunteered to handle the hoses. Bob turns the tap, and there's no turning back. And before you can say, "Pump my ride," this little red car becomes a little red helicopter.
Do you like buy a new costume for every myth we do?
Sometimes, but in this case, I had my own spacesuit in my personal collection. Just brought it out because it was appropriate.
Of course you did. Well, let me guess. We're doing what? Moon landing myths?
We are! Perhaps one of the biggest myths of all is that NASA faked the moon landing and perpetrated a hoax on the American people. So pervasive is this myth that 20% of Americans today still believe it, and we're taking it on.
Well, how are we going to do that? The number of claims are massive. I mean, they range from photographs to heat signatures to footprints.
I know there's a lot of them. I think what we should do is cherry pick the most common ones and piece the truth together as best we can.
Like a jigsaw puzzle.
Exactly.
This is launch control. We passed the 6-minute mark in our countdown for Apollo 11, the flight to land of the first men on the moon. Good luck and Godspeed. 10, 9, ignition sequence start.
On July the 16th, 1969,
Liftoff. We have it.
the world watched, wondered, and worried as 3 brave astronauts headed for the moon.
Houston, thrusters go. All engines, you're looking good.
Then 5 days later came that extraordinary moment in time
Eagle has landed.
when Neil Armstrong took those first tentative extraterrestrial steps.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
11 men followed in Armstrong's footsteps, each stride filling the earthbound audience with pride and confidence in scientific endeavor.
What a view, isn't it, John? It's absolutely unreal.
But did we really leap into the future? Or were we pushed into believing a giant PR stunt? Did NASA pull off the greatest cover-up in human history?
Oh, yeah, perfect. Growl like a tiger. Mew like a kitten. Guess what our first myth is?
Still photography?
Yes! Most of the alleged evidence that NASA faked the moon landings comes from NASA's own photography, which theorists claim shows clear evidence the moon landing was faked in the studio and could not have been filmed on the moon.
Say hoax.
Hoax!
So these are the photos the guys will focus on. According to Apollo hoax advocates, this shot was taken in a studio because the shadows are not parallel. Supposedly, that's something that could only happen with multiple light sources. Then there's this image of an artfully lit astronaut. Conspiracy cheerleaders claim if he really was standing in the shadow of the moon module, you wouldn't be able to see him so clearly.
You know what? Let's do parallel shadows first.
How do you want to test it?
Oh, I think we should do a large miniature because we can test the placement of all the various elements. It's kind of a complex thing.
Yeah, we need a lot of control over those elements.
Exactly.
All right, let's do it.
So, first up, the guys need a single, super-sized light source to stand in for the sun.
Amy, I'd like to introduce you to your son.
And Bright Spark Adam has found a monster studio light
That's pretty bright.
to illuminate the experiment.
Over here, I look like one of the aliens in Close Encounters.
That's the solar. Now for the lunar. Cue the build montage, because Jamie's making a moon.
I've got a good first start on my lunar set. It's just spandex and, let's see, Portland cement with a little bone black, which is basically black powder. As luck would have it, we just happen to have one of these sitting around the shop, and it's perfect for our miniature set. It's 1/76th scale.
That could not be better.
What do you say we turn on the lights and see what our shadows look like?
Yeah, let's see the light. Let's turn it around. I'm spinning around. Watch your eyes. What do you think?
Works for me.
We've had the lights, and there's been plenty of action. So where's the...
This is the camera that we're going to use. It's a Hasselblad that's very similar to the one that was used on the moon, except that we put a digital feed out the back so that we can look at the images in real time on a monitor and make comparisons to the original shots.
In true MythBusters style, the phone book fable is going to get ramped, ripped, and revved up until the boys get answers. But before the envelope pushing begins, let's take you back to the beginning.
The very first thing we have to do is interlace these things, like this. I think it's going to be a little harder than that.
Long and tedious task ahead? Cue our editor's favorite solution, the time lapse.
You ready to interleave some of these phone books?
Yep.
All right.
With the 2 phone books secured, Adam and Jamie
We've just passed 500 pages total.
We're cruising.
simply take turns flipping pages, pausing only when they get to M for Mafia.
Does this remind you of when you used to count money for the mob?
I was a hitman. I wasn't a money counter.
Almost there.
And with all 800 pages of each book interleaved, the guys begin to get a grip on the science of this myth.
I can't believe there's nothing holding those two things together but friction.
It's really quite amazing. I mean, when you tug on these, it's like they're glued together, but they're not. It can only be the friction of each page where it contacts the next one, and times 1,000 or so, it adds up to a lot.
What I've got here is a lesson in friction. While this might look like 2 800-page phone books, Jamie and I have interleaved them, or for you magic aficionados, we've done a Pharaoh shuffle. And apparently, almost nothing will rent these 2 things asunder. And we're going to see if that's true.
In an attempt to handle the truth, Adam and Jamie are focusing on friction. Friction can be defined as the force resisting the relative motion of 2 surfaces. For example, the pages of a phone book. Static friction is the force keeping 2 stationary objects from moving. And kinetic friction occurs when 2 objects that are already moving rub up against each other. That's the theory on what's holding the books together. To help pull them apart, the guys rigged 2 plywood handles along the book's spines. But neither these nor the tape you can see will interfere with the experiment.
All right. You want to do some tug of war?
Okay.
Well, no, Jamie and I are about to have a tug of war. And we are going to try and pull the phone book apart, but of course, I think we're also going to try and pull each other across the shop. And I think it's actually probably a pretty even game. We weigh about the same. Jamie may be a little bit stronger than me, but I fight dirty.
It's been a while since Adam
Oh, check out my guns.
and Jamie have gone head to head. But it's a grand old MythBusters tradition that underhand tactics,
I've still got a couple of tricks up my sleeve.
bending, and then breaking the rules are all part of the fun. Until someone loses. But there'll be no cheating here. It's a straight tug of war. A matching of muscle, mano y mano.
I'm going to run out of room here real quick, so...
Maybe you won't run out of room so quick.
Of course, aside from pride and sensitive egos, what's really on the line is the myth. Will the phone book pages stand up to our macho men?
You ready?
There we go.
First to cross the line loses.
Oh, I believe I'm winning.
Equally matched in weight, traction was the ultimate decider in this test. And with no time to substitute an hydraulically powered robot, Jamie has to take his medicine. But more importantly, despite being fueled by the red-hot fires of competition,
Good job. The phone book's still together, though.
Adam and Jamie failed to make an impression on the phone books.
Although I may have had better traction on my shoes than Jamie, I'd say it's Adam and Jamie 0, phone book 1. This puppy didn't creak, didn't move, didn't budge. We're gonna need some more help.
Before the help arrives, there's time for a little gloating.
Dude, this is like a professional wrestling trophy belt, right? I'm gonna wear this around. Like, check it out, Heineman. Who's the boss now?
Stun guns are stunningly effective, but hard to reload. So that's where the mythical water stun gun comes in. But is this watery weapon really the favorite gadget of spies around the world?
So you're the one that loves this, Smith. What's your plan?
Well, the first thing we need to do is get a commercially available stun gun.
And see what we can learn from it.
Exactly. And then we'll make a water shooting gun and hook up an electrical source to it and see if we can shock the heck out of somebody.
As long as that someone isn't me, I love this plan.
And then we'll go from there.
Perfect, let's do it.
So, first up, they're going to assess the non-water using real deal. And before you can say, Don't stun gun me, bro.
Wow,
I don't like the look of that.
that looks like it would hurt.
Because it looks so hurtful, Adam's taking no chances.
We're obviously no strangers to being shocked on this show, literally and figuratively. During the production of Baghdad Pattery, Tori got shocked. Scotty got shocked.
Oh my God!
And I unwittingly got seriously shocked.
So with this stun gun,
Honestly, none of us feel comfortable either getting shot by it or seeing anybody else get shot by it. So, in this case, this dude here is our stand-in target.
3, 2, 1.
Dude, that is harsh.
I hit him in the face.
It turns out that a regular electric stun gun has wires that deliver a massive 50,000 volts through 2 of these barbed spikes. On contact with the bad guy, the volts instantly drop down to 5,000, causing neuromuscular incapacitation. And that simply means
When you get hit by one of these things, you lose all physical control. Your muscles, the nervous system, and everything just go haywire, and you can't deal with it.
here at the MythBusters Electrolysis Clinic, we use the latest techniques to make sure those pesky hairs never come back.
so that's what the commercial stun gun can do. It's got a range of 15 feet. It puts out an initial charge of 50,000 volts, which drops to 5,000 volts on contact, causing neuromuscular incapacitation. But can an electrified water stream trump this trilogy? Well, just in time, a delivery's arrived by mail. Water pistols.
Can a toy become a weapon? See, the thing here is that in order for the electricity to be communicated to our victim via water, the water stream has to be continuous, i.e. laminar for you engineers out there. So I've got an arm full of all the latest water shooting toys. We're going to shoot them on high-speed camera and see which ones give us the flow we like.
First up, Adam sees red. By adding this dye, the water stream should be easier to analyze on the high-speed camera.
This is the Heineman at his most vulnerable, working with red food coloring. His white shirt could be desecrated at any moment.
With these spotless scientists still intact, the water pistol testing can begin.
Little football coming up. 1, 2, 3.
You know, it looks like it's breaking up after just a couple feet or so.
And that's something the high speed clearly shows. The moment it's out the barrel, the water breaks up into hundreds of distinct droplets. A 15-foot continuous laminar stream, this ain't. Cue the 2-chamber deluxe edition.
I've got high hopes for this one, but we'll see.
But that breaks up too. They pull a different pistol, and another, and another. But they all break up, meaning there's no path for any charge to travel through.
What's next?
It's the last one.
It doesn't get any simpler than that. It's just a big tube.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see what it does.
With only one potential pistol to go, it's the Myth's last throw of the dice.
All right, I'm ready.
Like the others, this fun gun sure is a super soaker. But is it laminar?
That is by far the best one we've tried yet.
At last, the high speed gives it the thumbs up. A 15-foot totally continuous laminar flow.
Now the question is, can we get electricity into this stream? Can we get it to a person? And when we do, is it a reasonable stun gun?
The story goes, a shadow warrior would slip into a pond, stay hidden for hours, breathing easy through his blowtube. When his unsuspecting target finally turned up, the ninja's poison dart would quickly carry out its carnage.
All right, this is pretty complicated, so let's break it down into its elements.
All right, well, first of all, we need to see how long somebody can stay underwater, because if you're underneath the water for a long period of time, there's a possibility you could get hypothermia.
And we need to see if we can build an accurate blowgun using only the materials that an ancient ninja would have.
And we need to find out if you can aim underwater, because you need to correct for refraction.
All right, well, then the hard part is going to be breathing through the blowgun, loading the dart while you're underneath the water, and then making that lethal shot.
Okay, this is gonna be tough.
Well, if it was easy being a ninja, anybody could do it.
So first up, Tori's going to put his life on the line.
Stop right there, that's good.
Today, we're going to test exposure to cold water. And to do that, Tori has kindly volunteered to jump into our tank of 66-degree temperature water.
That's about the average temperature of a lake in Japan during fall. But they're not throwing Tori completely in at the deep end.
Here you go, buddy.
Ew, it smells too.
He will have some protection.
Well, apparently, ninjas used to rub animal fat all over their bodies and then put a leather suit on before they got into cold water to act as like a wetsuit. Great, not only am I uncomfortable, I look like a complete idiot.
Not a complete idiot. For that, you need one more thing.
This is the ninja hood. This
Do I really have to wear this?
Well, this
Yeah,
is,
I mean, really.
Yes, you do, Tori. You lose up to 50% of your body heat through your head. And in your battle with the elements, you'll need all the help you can get.
All right, you're gonna write on this board how you feel. 1 is you're okay, you're good to go, all the way up to 10, which is I think I've got hypothermia, get me out of here now.
Sounds easy enough.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Just stay underwater until you're almost dead.
Quite honestly, under that cold water, I don't think Tori's gonna last very long. I feel like, 10, 15 minutes, and he's just gonna be cold and have to get out.
In water this cold, he could die in as little as 2 hours. And just 10 minutes in, Tori's already struggling.
Let's ask him what number he's at.
5. He's colder.
In case Tori hits real trouble, paramedics are on standby. They know what to look for.
Symptoms of hypothermia would include starting to shiver, lethargy, being confused, lack of coordination.
Other than the shivering, that's how he is normally, so it's gonna be a little tough for us to tell.
It's even harder to pick when he's underwater, which he's now been for 45 chilly minutes.
7.
Okay, he's pretty cold.
He's pretty uncomfortable.
In water this cold, Tori's losing body heat 32 times faster than he would normally.
His breathing's really getting ragged.
And the shaking's getting worse.
Oh, he's coming up. He's coming up. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's it.
All right.
Okay, quick, let's get your temperature.
Okay, first thing.
Carrie and Grant need to check if he's critical
All the water out of your mouth?
to see whether he can recover on his own or to call in the cavalry.
You can get out now.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now, given that Tori's just, a regular guy of average health, that is a very good performance.
It was harder than I thought it was going to be. The longer I was in there, the harder it was to breathe.
But the $64,000 question is, could he aim and fire a blowgun?
As a trained ninja, you could probably shoot somebody with a dart right now.
You lasted an hour. I didn't think it would be that long.
Considering you don't have any cold water training, that looks pretty good for this myth.
Yeah, so we just did the exposure test. Now on to the fun part.
That wasn't the fun part.
No, now we're going to do the blowgun test.
Yes!